When it comes to moving in our current society, there is a cost that comes with being oblivious. Some people call it not having street smarts, and others say it's simply being naive. Either way, the consequences of this can be dire, as we've learned from the recent news about the missing college student, Sudiksha Konanki. Some say that it was a tragic accident, and others are suspecting foul play. Without any evidence, it's hard to say which is true. So let's get into it. Sudiksha Konanki is a 20-year-old medical student from the state of Virginia who was attending college at the University of Pittsburgh. She was last seen on March 6 while visiting the Dominican Republic with other classmates during spring break. Now, it does need to be said that this hotel that they were staying at was having all sorts of issues all times of the day. One of her classmates actually reported that the ACs were not functioning properly, and at certain times, the hotel room could reach degrees of 80 plus. It was actually so severe that many people were opting to sleep outside on the beach or nearby at the pools. And because the hotel had been suffering rolling power outages, the key cards were not properly working, leaving many people to get locked out of their rooms. Anybody could have been sleeping on that beach. It's bad enough that even with everything going as planned, things can still be dangerous. So with the environment being in this condition, everyone should have been on high alert. For some reason, though, this did not occur to them. On the night that Sudiksha went missing, the group made their way to the bar. The group was drinking so excessively that at some point Sudiksha could be seen on surveillance footage covering her mouth and making her way over to the bushes, apparently to throw up. Unfortunately, though, this did not stop them. They continued on partying, and afterwards, they made their way over to the beach along with two other guys that they had acquired from the bar. Reportedly, they continued their drinking excursion, talking and laughing into the night. Some hours went by and the group eventually decided that they were going to head back to the hotel. At this point, we don't know what the conversation was, but they ended up leaving Sudiksha behind with one of the guys that they had met from the bar. It seemed that she was having a good time with him and she wanted to continue their conversation on the beach. Considering the fact that Sudiksha had already thrown up, I think it's very safe to say that she was likely very, very intoxicated. And at this point, even though she was surrounded by her classmates, she was already on her own. Later in the night, the group decided to make their way back to the hotel room, leaving Sudiksha with a strange man that she had met at the bar. She did not even have any of her personal belongings. Her phone, her wallet, everything was with the group as they made their way back to the hotel and left her alone on the beach. When you think about it, it truly is heartbreaking. Just thinking about how much fun that she was probably having at the time and how oblivious she was to the true danger that she was really in. Now, we're not going to get too much into this guy for the simple fact that he was already ruled out as a suspect. He was very cooperative with the police force, and as of now, there's no evidence to implicate him. Now, any of us could invite ourselves to go down conspiracy land and really get into all the vile things that could have happened to her. But what I really want to talk about here is all the different opportunities and ways that this situation could have been halted and prevented. I'm not entirely sure of the nature of the relationships between Sudiksha and her classmates. I haven't heard much about them actually being close friends or anything like that. And if that's the case, then that was mistake number one. Never should you, as a person who values their own well-being, go with others that you are not very familiar with. As in, you don't know their character, you don't know what they're like when they're drunk, you don't know what they're willing to do to you when you're drunk. Never should you go with these people to an environment that you are not familiar with and allow yourself to become inebriated. You should always be aware enough so that you are able to get yourself out of a situation should you need to. Because in this case, it was not her classmates who posed a direct threat to her, but we have seen other cases, like the Shanquella Robinson case, where her close friends were actually the ones who attacked her. Mistake number two was going to a foreign country in a low-budget environment. Going off of all the issues that they were having that entire week, that was not a safe environment to be in, even if you were in your right mind. When you are traveling anywhere, the first thing that you should plan for is your safety. You want to have a resting spot where you can get familiarized with the staff, they recognize you, you know them, and they know to look out for you. One of the other things that you want to look out for is that they actually have adequate security. Now, this wasn't by any means one of the worst hotels that they could have went to. Thankfully, they did at least have surveillance footage. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't have even been able to track her during the night to know where she went. Where they dropped the ball, though, is that they did not have adequate security on guard. In that particular situation, security should have been patrolling the area and making sure that those people who were sleeping on the beach and near the pools were actually supposed to be there. Not only this, but the hotel should have taken precautions considering the fact that their key cards were not functioning properly. People should have had physical keys so that no one would have been locked out of their hotel rooms to begin with. Last but not least, mistake number 3 was the group breaking up. One of the things that people most look forward to when becoming a college student is getting to make their own decisions. They can do whatever they want, go wherever they please, and they don't have to check in with anybody. And in most situations, that should be the case. However, in this particular situation, this should not have been an option. They were already experiencing being in an unsafe environment. On top of that, they were extremely inebriated. And this is where they made the biggest mistake of all, which was leaving Sudiksha alone on the beach and vulnerable. Even if she had never went missing, even if she made her way back to the hotel on her own later that morning, she could have come back with a story so horrific that she would have wished that she simply went missing. This world is just as dangerous as it is beautiful. I understand why Sudiksha wanted to go to the Dominican Republic and have a nice spring break where she didn't have to worry about her assignments or worry about her grades. I understand why she wanted to have a beautiful memory of her spring break during her college years. But now, because of a lack of street smarts, a lack of self-awareness, or just plain bad luck, Sudiksha is now missing, and we don't know if she will ever be able to look back on this memory. We don't even know if it was a good memory at all. Sudiksha's parents are now requesting that the Dominican Republican police officially declare their daughter as being dead. That is such a sobering reality check of what life can become if you are not prioritizing your safety and well-being, being aware of your surroundings and those that you keep around you. I'm wishing her family lots of healing and self-forgiveness because, like many of us know, parents never get over the loss of a child. With that said, that brings me to the end of this video. And with that said, that brings me to the end of this video. If this video has brought you any sense of self-awareness or has made you think twice about what you were planning to do later this week, please do give me a great big thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Also, while you're at it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button because I see you watching. I see you liking. But why are you not subscribing? Hit the subscribe button and don't forget to ring the bell so that you will be notified the next time that I upload. And if you made it this far in the video, please do leave a purple heart in the comment section below to show your support for Sudiksha and hopefully her safe return. Thank you all for watching this video, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!